Well, creationists and evolutionists have been bandying about this whole thing of life on other planets and even life in our solar system, like in the atmosphere of Jupiter or on Io or even on Mars. Now, the Mars rock that supposedly was knocked off of Mars by an asteroid that hit Mars, and then it ended up landing at the South Pole here, and they claimed to have found microscopic bacteria, but it was really cracks in the pyroxene matrix and weren't bacteria at all. But then they found carbonates on the rock that they thought could have been formed by living things, but they could have been formed inorganically too. And so the fight goes on. Was there ever life on Mars? And we creationists have asserted for decades now that if there's life on Mars, it would have had to have come from here. Encapsulated bacteria drifting on the solar wind from our inner orbit to a further out orbit of Mars and hitting Mars. Now, the evolutionists believe this could happen too. They believe that it's been going on for 4.6 billion years, so that gives you a lot more time to deposit a lot more Earth dust that could have bacteria on it. But for us, it's only been, 6,000 years. But either way, bacteria could survive the trip, we've always maintained, and now we know. Take a look at this article here. Bacteria can survive for years in space. There's the International Space Station. Oh, yes, and this is in a very recent issue of Science News. And look what it says. They found that some bacteria survived for 3 years on the exterior of the International Space Station. Here, I'll move this around so that you can read the whole article by pausing it later as you wish. But I also wanted to show you that following up on this sort of thing, they actually did an actual experiment to see how possible this could be. They concluded that these things could survive for 8 years, enough to get to Mars. And they're saying that if life is ever discovered on Mars, they're going to look for evidence that it actually came from here. So I've also included years ago this guy from NASA that said, yeah, if we ever do find life on Mars, we're going to have to realize there's, I think he said 7 million tons of Earth dust. It could very well have come from here and not formed. Because don't forget, the SETI people, the search for extraterrestrial life even people, they're all, as soon as they find anything that gives them any hope there's life on other planets, they'll immediately say that, you see, just add water, life is easy, we don't need God. And that Mars rock, one secular scientist announced when the Mars rock came out in the 1980s, or maybe it was the 90s, they rediscovered it, that's right. He said, this will be the end of organized religion on this planet. They really think it'll dethrone God and make God redundant. They've tried so hard to say that. Stephen Hawking said that even if there was a God, he'd be redundant because we figured out how the universe could make itself. Smart man, dumb thing to say. But anyway, you go ahead and take a look at these references that I've cited down below. You keep thinking. God bless and have a good day. Dr. Jackson.